Hello, what's up again, YouTube world? It's your girl Dana Monet here again to recap The Voice Season 10 knockouts. So this is week 1 of the knockout rounds, and some rather interesting things went down. I'll just say that. Started off with a very interesting thing. Miley Cyrus is the advisor, and she's been doing very well. She knows her shit. You know, just because she dresses up as an American flag or has a big heart candy looking bustier doesn't mean that she doesn't know how to help these contestants. So I was really loving that. And if you haven't heard as of yet, for season 11 of The Voice, Miley Cyrus and Alicia Keys will be on the panel. So yes, The Voice, there will be 2 females on the panel. I said this in season 9 when I was doing my recaps. I was like, why can't they have 2 women on the panel? Why can't one of the women be black? And you know what they did? They answered my prayers. So it's still going to be Adam and Blake. I thought that Adam was finally going to be taking his season off. No. So Christina, she still rotates, and so Pharrell and Christina are going to be gone for season 11. I don't think that Pharrell is coming back as a longtime coach or anything like that, but we'll see how that works. But until then, let's talk about the here and the now, and let's talk about these knockouts. So I'm going to start off with night 1, and I have a lot to discuss. I want to talk about everybody because this is the first time since the blinds that you're really kind of hearing everybody sing and what type of songs that they're choosing. And, you know, since I didn't talk about Everybody's Blind because I didn't like Everybody's Blind, you know, I get this opportunity to talk about, you know, more contestants. So we're going to go right into it. All right. So night 1 started off with Team Blake. You had Paxton Ingram singing Hometown Glory by Adele and Angie Kilhauer singing Take Your Time by Sam Hunt. Now, Paxton ended up winning this battle. Now, I do just want to say, you know, I felt initially seeing this pairing, I was thinking that Blake had his mind made up and he was going to choose Angie because she's country. However, the second that Blake heard what she was singing, like Blake kind of had a stank attitude towards. He's like, you singing that song? Like, okay. Like, I just feel like he was done. And that was a very extremely poor choice on her part. Her battle was montage, so she needed to do something in the knockouts to stand out or at least be remembered by or leave on a good note. And I don't understand why you would choose a song for a singing competition that really doesn't have a melody or like any singing. Like clearly she's not as clever as some contestants have been when they've, you know, taken like rap songs and stuff that doesn't necessarily have a melody and, you know, flips it. But that was just bad. I mean, it was out of tune the entire time. To me, she didn't have energy, this energy that they're talking about. I don't know what they speak of. So I'm convinced the knockout starts when the judges do like bullshit critiques, because they actually do critique in the blinds and, you know, the battles in the blinds. They'll say why they didn't turn around the battles. They're, you know, comparing on the same song. But the knockouts is when they start that stuff. So now I know. I might have to start muting the judges' comments now. And I felt like she definitely deserved to go home after that performance. As far as Paxton is concerned, Paxton definitely won the knockout just by virtue of a better song choice and connecting to the lyrics. But vocally, to me, it wasn't a home run. I'm actually still not 100% sold on Paxton. Like, he's really still at arm's length for me. Like, Christina was commending his lower notes, which I think that I liked in the rehearsal, but I think there were too many low notes in the actual performance, and he wasn't landing them as I would have really wanted him to land them. And it sounded a little bit out of tune on some of those low notes. He does have a nice voice, but I feel like he has a generic voice and tone, and he's just not interesting enough to me. I know that in his blind, he talked about how he was a dancer. Maybe he needs to start dancing on the stage because I'm not really connecting to him. So Paxton won. Moving right along to Team Adam. So we have Adam messing up again, as usual. What else is new? But he does redeem himself. I felt like this was a bad pairing on Adam's part. Again, I've already seen the spoilers, so I know pretty much everybody who's made the playoffs. So I knew this was coming, but I just didn't know how they would fare in their performances. You know, I don't know why you would pair like two of your kind of like front runner men together in a knockout. I think that was dumb. But Owen Danoff sang She's Always a Woman by Billy Joel, and Ryan Quinn sang Drops of Jupiter by Train. Owen won and Ryan was stolen by Christina. Now for Owen, he's typically not my favorite type of singer. However, when he sings, I'm into it. I liked his blind audition. He was one of my many, many favorites. I do like his approach, and he does have the ability to like hit some really big notes in songs, and it can kind of just, come out of nowhere. So melodically, he kind of does possess the element of surprise. He can give you like an moment with his voice. So I feel like there's more to his voice than what he lets on. And I'm not sure if Adam is going to stretch him or just have him in this little realm of what he does. But he does need to work on not coming across as being so boring. I saw so many comments on blogs where he just seemed boring. Because there are so many other much more dynamic singers and performers this season. And unlike season 8 with Sawyer, I don't think his voice is as commanding to kind of like outshine those really dynamic performers. Although I'm still in the minority and don't necessarily think that Sawyer should have won, but we knew that that was a done deal for a long time. But I definitely don't think that Owen is... He kind of reminds me of that kind of type of singer, singer-songwriter type telling stories, but I don't think he's going to win. That's just my opinion. 8 weeks from now, we'll see what happens. But, but I think he could get swallowed up in that. As for Ryan Quinn, who was one of my favorites, and he killed his blind, he killed his knockout, and I love Ryan's voice, but this, in my opinion, was the second poor song choice tonight. That song, like, Ryan's voice is so big and he has such a huge range. I don't know why he's shortchanging himself to singing this boring, like, mid-tempo song that doesn't really go anywhere. You can't really do anything with your voice. I mean, he did do this nice, like, little slide note. I love a good slide note in a song towards the end. But I feel like based on this performance and this performance alone, I can understand Adam not choosing him. Like, Ryan should have knocked it out of the park, for real. That's the bottom line. I am happy that Christina stole him because I feel like she'll do better with him and taking him out of his comfort zone. Like, oh, no. You're not singing these safe songs because Christina don't play it safe. So I like it for that. But I'm not actually sure that I would have stolen him. There were 3 steals tonight, and I only really agreed with one. I'm not mad at Ryan getting stolen. Not mad at it. I'm just saying I feel like either he should have won the knockout or he should have just been eliminated. That's kind of how I feel. In any event, like I said before, I think that Christina can bring more things out of him in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens in the live playoffs with him. All right, so moving on to Team Pharrell. So he decided to pair 2 of my favorites together, Hannah Houston and Malik Hurd. Again, I already had seen spoilers, so I knew what was going to happen. When I saw the spoilers, I was upset to see that Malik didn't win or get stolen, but his performance really didn't warrant it. So Hannah Houston sang House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, and Malik Hurd sang Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder. So Hannah won that battle, knockout, easily. I think that she had a very solid, convincing vocal on this. I really, really loved how throughout the second half of the performance, she was really letting that raspy sound come out. And it was just like, it was kind of on fleek, that rasp. It was just like all throughout. And it was just, I really loved it. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about her arms and stuff like that. It didn't bother me. Maybe because I wasn't paying attention to it as much. I was more or less listening to her versus watching it. So I think that rasp and just that oomph, like she definitely gave more oomph to the song. It was an arc. So she was definitely one of my favorites of the night. I will say though, House of the Rising Sun, that damn song needs to be retired. Like, I'm kind of sick of hearing people sing that song. I mean, the song was all over the American Idol auditions. Like, it's just sang all the time. Kimberly Nicole slayed my life completely dead last season 8 when she sang it. Like, slayed everybody dead. So I'm like, after that, do we really need to hear anybody else sing that song? I mean, Hannah did great. She did great. I'm not taking that away from her. And it's not even about how well she did. It's just the fact that why this song? And I'm starting to think that they must have a list because they're singing these overdone songs in the knockouts. It always happens. And, you know, maybe she was like, okay, I can sing House of the Rising Sun. I can go out there and I can tear it up. And I didn't like other songs on the list. That's fine. I mean, there had to have been another song that you could like tear it up. But whatever the case may be, she did great. And, you know, I can't argue with Pharrell's decision. Kind of one of his only decisions that made sense during the knockouts. So, yeah, that's what I'll say about that. As far as Malik, Malik was so promising. I don't know what happened. He had a great blind, an outstanding, insane battle round with Brian Bautista. And then he gives us this, isn't she lovely? Like, really? I was so rooting for Malik. Like, I really, really was. I was like, no, no, no. But he really let me down. I mean, he was pitchy and his performance like fell flat to me. And it was a little bit cheesy. He was doing some dance moves, spinning or whatever. I just don't understand how you go from 3 coaches wanting to steal you in the battles to thinking this performance of singing Isn't She Lovely is going to take you to that next level. Like, it's not. I don't care how well he would have sang it, he would not have won that battle. And with that song and that performance that he gave, I don't think that he would have won a battle or a knockout rather against any of the other competitors on Pharrell's team, to be truthfully honest. But to me, he was definitely one of the people to look out for, and I guess he just showed that maybe he's just not quite ready. But I wish the coaches could help them with the song picks, but that's kind of the point of the knockout rounds, for them to choose their own song and kind of live or die by it. And, you know, that's kind of what happened. And as far as Stevie songs go, yes, people sing Stevie songs all the time, but Stevie has a million songs, and I don't mind hearing a Stevie song as long as it's done nice. I mean, I would love to hear That Girl. Nobody ever sings that song. That girl thinks that she's so bad. If you're going to sing a Stevie song, sing That Girl. Or he could have just sang one of Stevie's ballads. I wouldn't even have minded if he would have sang Ribbon in the Sky, because his voice would have sounded beautiful on Ribbon in the Sky. So, I mean, he's the type of contestant to me that would have had the opportunity potentially to be stolen again had he delivered the way I know that he can deliver. So I'm a little bit upset about that. So Hannah won that fair and square. She definitely did. And I do like Hannah. Let's not get that twisted. I like Hannah. Hannah's a fighter, and I always like fighters. Moving on to Team Blake, which was Katie Basden singing Gypsy by Fleetwood Mac and Lacey Mandigo singing Zombie by the Cranberries. And Blake made a very astute comment, which makes me so convinced that he's the smartest coach on the show. So he's flat out said, I have to go with the person who I think sang the best, plain and simple. You know, I wish that Pharrell could adopt that mentality. Like, I really, really do. Because that's why Blake be winning the show. Because earlier on, he stacks his team. He knows how to do it. Like, he just does a great job. He doesn't necessarily have the most exciting battles and knockout rounds, because he's pairing people who are here to people who are kind of here in some instances. I'm not saying that was the case in this particular knockout, but he does that a lot because, you know, like with March Madness, he pairs like his 15 seed with his number 2 seed. Like, that's what he does. And, you know, he ends up with the better people on his team at the end of the day, for the most part. But getting into the performances for Katie, I think Katie was the right person to win the battle by virtue of her, crispy, clear voice, range, and staying on pitch. But in my opinion, the performance was kind of boring and forgettable. Her outfit, however, was not forgettable. I think somebody posted on MJS Big Blog that she looks like she's singing by day and about to be like Buffy the Vampire Slayer at night, because her outfit was kind of vampire-y, sexy. She was like this black lace. It was very cool. I really liked that. But that's all I have to say about her. Sure, what she did on Maybe I'm Amazed, that needs to come back to the forefront. Lacey, and she was stolen by Pharrell. And honestly, I think that this was a waste of a steal. And I was extremely shocked that two coaches wanted to steal her. I think her performance in the battles, singing California Dreamin' with Allison Porter, definitely warranted a steal. I was not mad at that. She tore that thing up. But this performance, no. Aside from the fact that I didn't like the song, she had a lot of pitch issues, and there were some repetitive things with the song, with the melody, that it just didn't sound good to my ears. I know that's probably how the song goes, but that wasn't pleasing. In my opinion, she should have just been eliminated, and that steal could have went to somebody else. And the fact that two coaches were trying to steal her, it's like, we could have just stolen Malik for that. I mean, I know that Malik did not have his best performance or anything like that, but we know that he's capable of greatness. So, I'm just saying, if you're going to steal Lacey, that's all. That's just all I'm saying. But anyway, moving right along to Team Christina. And we had Allison Porter singing River by Joni Mitchell and Daniel Pacino singing Ain't Too Proud to Beg by The Temptations. Now, this was a no-brainer before either of them even sang. Poor Daniel, he had to sing against the chosen one. Of course, Christina wasn't going to do anything stupid like Pharrell or Adam. She's not crazy. She's not going to get rid of, her chosen one, her prize to win The Voice this season. That's what they're saying, Allison Porter. But I have to say this about Allison. Many people are kind of hating on Allison because she's getting pimped so much, and they also think, she screeches sometimes in her upper register. But I'll say the same thing I said about Jordan Smith last season I said about her. If she delivers vocally every single week, which she has, then I don't give two shits if they're pimping her. If she is living up to the hype, then I don't have a problem with it. I feel like what she did on this performance, she went back to what we loved about her audition. She went soft, and, it was very subtle with a couple of like really, really amazing belted notes that only Allison could do. And she did it flawlessly and effortlessly. And then she brings it back down, and I really liked her over the top belting in the battle rounds, because I feel like that's kind of the point of the battle. You got to throw everything in there. But in this moment, she had the opportunity to really build a song and have a beginning, middle, and an end, even in a minute and 30 seconds. So I really appreciated that. This was one of my other three favorite performances of that night. I have no problem with Allison winning, although I do always like an underdog, I have to say. But typically the underdog never wins these shows. So moving right along. Daniel singing Ain't Too Proud to Beg. Kind of reminds me of Malik, because he can sing. He has a nice voice, although I do like Malik a lot more. But he chose a hella cheesy song to sing. He should have just been sent home before he sang. Like, you really gonna sing Ain't Too Proud to Beg? Like, really? That song is literally, as Michael Slezak once said, squarely stuck in the 60s. Like, you can't modernize this song. And it's not even a song, only David Ruffin can sing it. That's pretty much it. So I just don't know. He had the corny dance moves. He sang on pitch, but it was just such a cheeseball fest. And the fact that Pharrell wanted to steal him after that performance, like, I don't know. I just can't get behind that. But maybe I would have been okay with him stealing him versus Lacey, maybe? I don't know. Who knows? I just know only one steal made sense tonight. Two. We'll go with that. So the whole time he was performing, I was thinking, we gave up Kristen for this. Because I love myself some Kristen Marie. Moving right along to Team Pharrell. So this is what I have to say about Pharrell. Pharrell. Just because you think one of your contestants may be stolen doesn't mean you always have to pick the other one. He does this all the time. And I just think that it's a dumb choice that, that he chooses to do that. Now, he paired Emily Keener with Shalia Faring, and Emily sang Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell, another Joni Mitchell song for the night, and Shalia sang A Broken Wing by Martina McBride. Now, I don't feel like Emily actually has a chance to win the show, so I don't really know, I understand his reasoning, but I just hate when Pharrell does that mess. I'm not going to hate on Emily, but I didn't really care for her blind audition that much. She was a 4-chair turn. I still don't understand that. I didn't really care for her battle. I kind of liked her knockout. It was, she had a lot of personality. I find her voice interesting, but it's just not my cup of tea. It's not something that I want to listen to all the time. But I find her voice just like a bit annoying. Just because she was a 4-chair turn doesn't mean you have to keep that person. It doesn't mean that they were better than the other contestant who only got 1 chair to turn, which was Shalia, who was stolen by Adam. This is where Adam redeemed himself for getting rid of Mike. Really. Mike Schiavo. Hashtag bring Mike back. I just had to plug that in. Now, they had been teasing this performance since last week, actually, and they even released one of those leaked videos on The Voice's YouTube channel, so I knew she was going to kill it. I knew she was getting stolen. Obviously, I saw the spoilers, so I knew what was happening, but I hate it when they ruin the suspense. I'm not even going to look to The Voice to garner any type of suspense. I'm just not going to expect it, but that's what I do like about the live rounds, that they can't do that because it's live. So, there is like some element of suspense, a little bit. But Shalia reminds me so much of Corinne from season 8. I feel like I've probably mentioned this before, but she has such a commanding, powerful voice. She has a lot of fire and passion. I do think that she needs to work on her pitch a little bit. And showing a bit more control, which is kind of the same thing that Corinne needed to work on. Like, they're like identical twins. It's stupid. Like, in terms of their approach vocally and their age and their fire and passion and tone and everything like that. Actually, their tones are different, but just, you know what I mean, y'all. But she's definitely my underdog pick to make the finals. And she also did a nice little slide note like Ryan did that she had during the performance. I hope that Adam doesn't ruin her. I really think in terms of looking at his team, Shalia needs to be in that top 3 going into the top 12. So the 5 contestants make the playoffs and 3 go on to the top 12. She needs to be one of those top 3. There's no reason why she shouldn't be. And I do feel like she has one thing over Corinne, and I think that she has a broader range than Corinne did. So we'll see. To me, she was, like I already mentioned, the only real justifiable steal tonight. Since the coaches only get 1 steal, I think that was a very smart steal. Although I don't really think that there should have been a steal in that situation because Shalia should have won. So, she was my third favorite of the night. And as a side note, Tristan McIntosh from American Idol, this is how you sing A Broken Wing. This is how a 15-year-old sings A Broken Wing. You need to take notes, honey. This is how it's done. So, moving right along tonight, too, and starting with Team Blake. As I said last night, Blake is the smartest coach on the panel. Come on, we knew that Adam Wakefield was going to win this battle over Peyton. It's nothing against her, but I can kind of barely remember her. Blake always wants his best artists, best singers on his team at the end of the day. And, that's just what it is. He's made mistakes in the past, as I've mentioned, but overall, that's usually his game plan. Adam Wakefield sang Bring It On Home to Me by Sam Cooke, and Peyton Parker sang Traveling Soldier by the Dixie Chicks. Adam won. And Christina said she has a country crush on him. I don't have a country crush on him, but I am kind of in love with his voice. I love this man's voice. Like, his voice is just like some really, really great brown liquor. And the fact that he sang Tennessee whiskey is like kind of perfect for him. I never had whiskey before. Maybe I did. But yeah, whatever is the smooth brown liquor that just goes down smooth, that's what his voice is. It's so bluesy and soulful and gritty, and it can cross so many genres other than country. He's blues, he's rock, he's soul, he's country, he's everything. And I was hearing him sing, and I was like, oh, Adam, you got to take me to church, take me to church. And midway through, brother took me to church. He did this like crazy high raspy note, and I was like, yes, it was glorious. So I will say this, and y'all know that I hate on the country people all day, every day. If this dude were to win, I wouldn't be mad. It would be kind of typical, because again, Blake is winning, a white male is winning, a country artist is winning, but he's different than other country artists. So if he sings like that every week, I ain't even mad. I ain't. Then Peyton, I honestly don't remember her. So moving on. Team Pharrell. So Mushmi and Nick Hagglund. This was another one of the decisions Pharrell made that I wasn't quite on board with. But Mushmi sang New Americana by Halsey, and Nick Hagglund sang Lost Without You by Robin Thicke, and Mushmi won. There were actually no steals on night 2, by the way, and Blake is the only one left with a steal. I love Mushmi's blind audition, and I love her tone when it's in that beautiful haunting place, like makes me think of the ocean waves. And, you know, at the beginning of the performance, she definitely took me there, and everybody was commenting, like, I love like the first 10 or 15 seconds of that. But the rest of it kind of fell flat. And, you know, I don't think I really like the song either. I think that she needs to stay more along the lines of like a Sade, Norah Jones type songs and type of sound, because her voice is so beautiful when she sings like that. Like when she did Wicked Game, I loved it. So she needs to stay with that. I don't particularly like actually hearing her belt, really. I kind of understand Pharrell picking her because she's different. Like, she's not like anybody else on the show. I mean, appearance-wise, I mean, she's Indian. Like, I don't think there's been an Indian on the show. But also, her voice is unique and it's different. But she didn't show me enough in this performance. And I feel like I would have chosen Nick. And, you know, now I know that many people, including myself sometimes, get sick of Nick always singing in his falsetto. And then he chooses a song that's pretty much in falsetto the entire time. But even though the beginning was a little bit shaky, once he kind of took the mic off the mic stand and he got a little funky with it and he did a little dance and he was like trying to get the crowd into it, like I was into it. Like I was sold on the performance as a whole. And I didn't know he could play the guitar, so I liked that as well. I know Blake still had a steal left, and I know he's going to use it on, so I'm not mad that he didn't pick Nick. But as far as some other people who were stolen, like Lacey and Ryan, specifically Lacey, Nick should have had that steal. I feel after everybody that I've seen thus far, I feel like Nick should have had that steal. I may feel differently once I see the remainder of the knockouts, but I feel like he should have had that steal. If there's a comeback kid on Pharrell's team, I wouldn't mind it being Nick or Malik. You know, I wouldn't mind it. So if they do that, so I'm crossing my fingers. So Team Christina, and this was the last battle of the night because there was only 3 battles. There were no montages, thank goodness. So Tamar Davis singing Lay Me Down by Sam Smith, and Maya Smith singing No One by Alicia Keys. Now, Tamar won the battle. This wasn't my favorite Tamar performance, but it was definitely more than enough to get her the win, I have to say. I feel she should have slowed it down in the beginning. The verse was a little bit too fast, but when she hit her stride on the chorus, it was a lot better. I do, however, wish she would have finessed the song a little bit more. It seemed the entire song was on 10, and this song is great because of the way that it builds. And I feel, you know, that she didn't do that, but Maya just didn't really deliver, so I definitely am cool with Tamar advancing. And I do feel as though, as a side note, that Tamar and Allison are actually vocally and range-wise on par with each other, like equals. And experience-wise, I think they're on par with each other, and they're about the same age. The thing Tamar is lacking that Allison has, other than being the chosen one, is that Allison has complete control over her voice, or she's displayed that so far throughout the competition, and understands subtlety a little more. You know what I mean? Maybe Tamar can bring that out in the playoffs. I would be looking forward to that. So I would kind of love for Christina's team, her 3 to go into the top 12 to be Tamar, Brian, and Allison. I would love that. And as a quick hit on Maya, again, singing an overdone song by Alicia Keys, like, why? But she was sharp the entire time. She was out of tune, like, from the get-go. I was like, oh no, Maya. I was like, she was so promising, like, just like Malik, and then just, like, crashed and burned in the knockouts. I don't know what happened. She was so amazing in the blinds, incredible in the battles, and then in the knockout, it's just like, what happened? And she was definitely one of my favorites. She just didn't sing it well. And, I also think it may have been in the wrong key. It just seemed like she was singing too high. It was really a shame because I think that she has everything going for her. She has the voice. She has, the look. I hate to use this word, but she's very commercial, marketable, and everything like that. I was sad to see her go, but it was definitely the right decision. I was thinking that this would have been a situation where a steal would have been warranted and it wouldn't have been used because none were left, but a steal wasn't warranted for Maya. I'm sorry, but I love you. So all in all, it was a very interesting first week of the knockout. So there's going to be a remaining episode on Monday of the knockouts finishing up, and then we are heading into the live playoffs. Thank goodness. So really, really excited, and I will see you guys later on this week to recap American Idol. Bye.